but I didn't really have a phrasing for when I wanted to actually talk about it. And it's how death affects us. It's how death affects both me and you. What influence did you give to someone when they were at their point of need? That would be the biggest question. How the death of our body affects our perception on life. Their death impacted my life towards ministry. Perception. Let's talk about this perception. First, I'm going to tell you who these three individuals that I'm making examples of are. First, there's a guy by the name of Tahun. I was in high school. I'm in grade 11, grade 12. Tahun, there's this guy called Tahun. He used to come to hang with us. He would just sit around, whatnot. So he was a very quiet guy, very quiet kid. He was younger than me, like 2 years younger than me. Tahun would just come. But during the June holidays of that year, 2007-8, he went home and he said he was hearing the voice of his father, and they didn't take him serious enough, and they just kept shouting at him. Black people, they just didn't take him seriously. And then Tahun one day was so pissed off, angered by this story, that he went off top of the building and he jumped off. And I got the message during the holidays. And it changed my life completely. I mean, like, from that point, I remembered that's how sensitive life is. That someone is here today, you're enjoying their presence, and then just like that, they were gone. We didn't talk too much with Tahun, but he was always there. He was always hanging around us. We talk. Hey, man, are you good? What's up? Hey, we are going somewhere. He was with us and all that kind of stuff. But we never sat down to really talk to him, because he was just always around us, So it impacted me to say, I never really reached to the kid. Maybe if you did, maybe he would have talked back. Now look at how this evolves then into the second person. This is a kid. Early parts of my ministry, 2010-11, I used to evangelize in schools. I've talked about this before. But there was this kid called Temba. He didn't listen at all, completely. Temba was always radical, always noisy, always rebellious towards authority. And I was like, how do I reach this kid? And so I just ended up And 2 years later, Temba committed suicide. 2013-14, he committed suicide. And when he committed suicide, I asked his friends, man, what happened to that kid, man? That kid, he didn't want to listen to me, Maybe if he listened, At first I was, if he listened, maybe, he would have. He said, nah, this kid was abused at home. This kid was so abused so badly, he used to post about it on Facebook. So I was like, what? So I went online to check his Facebook page, and he was just posting about it, how he was going to commit. They would try to calm him down, but he had had enough, and then he took himself. That idea that maybe if I sat down with him, maybe that one more second, that one more minute, the same way with Tahun, maybe if I talked to him, maybe, even though I had nothing to offer him, but maybe if I said something, you just have that feeling. And then you come to the third one by the name of Kevin. Now Kevin was also in the early parts of my ministry, 2010, 2011. He was in high school. His sister used to come to my Bible studies when I was doing them in the school. So he started coming also, like, what is this things that my sister is going to? And he would ask questions. He was a science guy. And last year he got married, 2019, 2020 he died. He passed away. I remember when he got saved. He didn't get saved during those meetings. But after I think about 2 years or so, I met him and he was now saved. He's now in church. I'm like, hey, Kev, what's up? And he said, those conversations we had actually made me have more questions. And those questions led me to research more and to become an apologist. So he was an apologist by that time. And so, to see that you had this influence on someone and they choose a particular lane in life. And then there's this other two individuals you could have had an influence on. But you didn't have the right thing to say. You didn't have the right words to say. The death of people mostly makes you remember this type of things. What you tell Lazarus in the point where he's so rejected by society, he's dying on the side of the road. What do you say? What do you say to a guy like that? Do you even say anything? Do you even know what to say? It's this type of influences that people have. What influence did you give to someone when they were at their point of need? Death actually makes you think of that. The passing of someone, how close they were to you, then would determine how do you perceive others. Of what value was I to that person? You start thinking about that. The death of Temba really hit me, because I remember I stopped for that period. I stopped ministering because I really asked myself, of what impact is what I'm doing? Because here is this kid, I couldn't read him at all. That's when I really got into trying to understand body language. That's when I tried verbal, non-verbal cues, because I couldn't read it out of him that this rejection of authority was deep-rooted back at home. A difficult question, but it must be answered, because the influence will tell you how effective we are in ministry. It's Ricky, and I'll see you on a later on. These three, I've always wanted to tell that one, because I felt the way these three really highlighted for me, from coming to salvation with Tahun and starting out in ministry with Temba and seeing that, and Kevin also making me realize the value of just having a communication with someone. It's worth value if you give them what is truthful. Don't give them hope that you know that it's not there. You give them the scripture, they receive the scripture. That's enough. It's Ricky, and I'll see you on later on. Check out the pinned comment if there's any other videos, and I'll see you later on. Yeah, be blessed. We'll have better